everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching. So following on from the 6x6 hexagon pop-up card that I made, I'll link it up here for anybody that's not seen it. I've made this 5x7 version, and it's pretty much the same. I haven't got the top piece that goes over, but I'm going to do the 5x7 exactly like the 6x6, and that will come soon. But I was doing this one as well. So this all folds flat, again, very similar, and then it just naturally pops up. But I've done this as like more of a box style. And I just think it's lovely. You've got all your space on the back there to write your message. You can have anything you want popping up out of this. So I've just stuck with the autumnal theme because I've got a lot of that product at the moment. And this is a get well soon card. Really lovely style. Like I said, if you've enjoyed the other hexagon in the 6x6, then I think you'll like this one. And you can take this style and make it in the 6x6 with the measurements for that one that I shared earlier in that previous tutorial. So let's get started. So again, I'm using the lovely little 6x6, the Magic of Autumn paper pad. You get 24 sheets and you get these topper sheets as well. It's 190 GSM, 4 pattern papers and 2 topper sheets. And you get 4 of each of those. So I've gone ahead and made everything, and I'll talk you through the springs and everything in a moment. I've used again this leaf, and then I've got all the pieces here. So very, very easy, just like the 6x6. So you want this piece here, which is 3.5 by 7. You could go a little bit wider with this one if you want, but you'll see when it opens, there's not much room left there. But you could expand it a bit more. It's just going to stop this. It will probably only open maybe there because it will stop. So I thought the 3.5 was just right. But play around with it if you want it a bit wider. Maybe you've got a specific sentiment or something to go on there. So 7 by 3.5. And then this piece here is the base, so the wrap all the way around, and this is 10.5 by 2.5. Again, the height of this you can adjust as well. The 2.5 is here, so if you want it to go up a bit higher, maybe you're do something a bit different, then try it out. So along the 10.5 side, you want to score at 1 3/4, 3 1/4, 5, 6 3/4, 8 1/4, and 10. You'll then want 2 of these for the spring. Now I've already made both of my springs there, but this is 9.5 by 1.5. And along the 9.5 side, you're going to score at 1.5, 2 1/4, 3, 3 3/4, 4.5, 6, 6 3/4, 7.5, 8 1/4, and 9. And then you just want to cut a little bit off the edge there on that 1/2 inch tab. Okay, so that's all the scoring. So with this one here, just fold and burnish all of those score lines, so they're all mounting folds, and then at the end just take a little bit off there, and then I'm going to add a little glue on the end here like so, and then just stick the ends together there so you've got your hexagon shape. So with your spring, you'll have the 1.5 square at this end and then the 1/2 inch tab on your right hand side. Start off on the left. You want to make a mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. Go across, another mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. So you should have this shape. So you've got your 1.5 inch squares at each end, and you've got your springs running down the sides. With the tab there, just add your glue and stick that together. If you've made the 6x6, then you'll know exactly what to do here. And now you'll see you've got your little spring there. I'm going to attach the springs and everything to this first and then attach it inside here, but you might want to attach the springs and then slide this down in the middle. There's a few ways to do it. You might also want to cover all of this, but I've only actually covered, if you can see inside there, can you see I've only gone as high as I've popped the springs in. You don't really see it, so that's what I've got again here. If you want to do a full mat and layer, then you'll want a piece of 6 3/4 by 3 1/4, and then a piece of 6.5 by 3. But I've got this one here, so it's one of the papers and some gold mirrored cards. So it's 4.5 by 3 1/4, and then 4 1/4 by 3. So I'm going to stick that one down first. If you want the same for the back, then just stick that one down as well. I'm then going to take one of the springs and I'm going to stick it in here. Now you can have it this way. If I hold it, you can stick it that way or that way. But I think for the pop-ups, it's a bit easier that way because I've been sticking them onto like this one here and like that one there. I just found it a bit easier to kind of put longer pieces down through there. Whereas if you do it that way, you kind of, you know, you can only stick it within that 1/2 or 3/4 inch piece. So I find it a bit easier to do it that way. So I'm going to use my quick grab glue here. And just stick it kind of in the middle there. I've gone flush with the bottom actually, so I'll bring it down a bit more. There we go. You just want it to be hidden behind your 2.5 piece there. So that's that one. And then I'm going to flip it over and do the same. So now you'll have this piece here, and it should have a nice spring to it. This is then going to go in here, and it will already hold itself when it opens, you see. So what I'm going to do is add the glue to both sides. You might want to do one at a time. You might want to do it while it's in there, and kind of, you know, the precision tip here, you can kind of get it in to the corners and stuff. I'm going to do it this way. There are other ways that you can do this, and you're going to get your fingers a little bit sticky, but just bring it all together, pop that in, hold it from that end, and you want to line up this card to the bottom. Okay, line up your card to the bottom and then kind of let them fall into the 1.5 inch pieces here. So they're the same width as the springs. And I would make sure this card runs, you know, flush with the bottom. But just focus on these, getting them in these pieces here because they're the same width. That way you know you've got it all lined up. And then when you go to fold it flat, you'll see that this sits perfectly within that section. Just make sure it runs flush with the bottom here. So a little bit of practice. Just use some, you know, old cardstock first. But you see there it all lines up nicely. And that just pops open really well. I've then got my panels here to decorate the 2 sides and the middle. So the middle one is 1.25 by 2.25, and then 1 by 2. And then you want 2 pieces of 1.5 by 2.25 and 1.25 by 2. So I'm going to stick those down. Okay, so they're all stuck down. You can cover the back as well. And like I said, I'm going to keep my message there. I've taken this one here, the With Love, from the paper pad. I've just backed it onto some cardstock, and I'm just going to pop that one in the middle there. Okay, and then I've got my leaves here, which is using that die there. So I just cut a load of them. I can take this apart now actually. So I cut 4 with it, with just the frame in the orange, and then I popped the detail in the center there with a little bit of tape, and then ran that through 4 times using gold card, and then just stuck it over the top. So that's how you get that effect there. So I'm going to have 1 leaf stuck directly onto here, and then I'm just going to build up the others around that one. I mean, you might just want to have a stamped image on here as well and nothing popping up. You don't have to add these elements. It's quite nice, you know, just like this. I've then got some acetate strips here, and I'm just going to pop some behind that one there, and then again the strips can be any height you want, as long as they're not higher than the 7 inches, because obviously then you'll need a bigger envelope. But this one here is going to go right on the very front, so kind of just hide the bottom of it there. Okay, and then the other 2 are going to come out either side like this. So again, I'm just using the acetate strips here. These are about 1/2 inch, and I'm just sticking them behind there, and then tape on the bottom to stick, and they're just going into these ones here. It's up to you. You could add quite a lot in there if you want. You know, you've got lots of space. You can stick more on here and stick more onto the very back as well. Okay, so that's the finished card. I'll just bring back this one in. I just realised that's shorter. I didn't cut it to 7. That is 7, so the measurements I've given you are all correct there. So that's going to fit in to your 7 by 5. But this one is 5 by 6, and I don't know what that measurement is. So anyway, I'll still use that one. It'll still go in a 5x7 envelope. But take the base from my 6x6 and then just cut this piece so it fits within, and it's 6 inches high, and you can have this style in the 6x6 size. But like I said, that's the measurements today. They're the proper measurements, and that's how it looks in the 5x7. Again, another really lovely style. Really pleased with how this one's come together, and it's definitely something I'm going to be using, you know, for a few more different themes as well. I've got some more ideas which hopefully I'll share with you soon. So as always, thank you for watching. I will link all of the product that I've used in the description box below. Popping up now will be the 6x6 pop-up hexagon box, and I'll share some other similar tutorials as well. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, if you've enjoyed today's tutorial, you can click on my face there and then just hit the notification bell, and that way you won't miss any future videos. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.